Okay, welcome to the class 11 science chemistry chapter equilibrium video lesson 4. In today's video lesson, I shall be doing a few numericals based in this chapter. Calculation of equilibrium constant, reaction quotient, equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressures, and equilibrium constant in terms of concentrations. Okay, now let us go to the first question over here. My dear students, number 17. In the previous video, I had done till question number 16. Today, I will be doing question number 17. Now, look at the question. One of the reactions over here, let me change the color of this pen. Okay. One of the reactions that takes place in producing steel from iron ore is the reduction of iron to oxide by carbon monoxide to give iron metal and carbon dioxide. Okay. Now, the equation is given over here. Fe2O3S, that is solid, plus carbon monoxide gas, reversible sign, iron plus carbon dioxide gas. The Kp for this reaction, the equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure for this reaction is given 0.265 at 1050 Kelvin. Okay. Now, Kp is given. Now they are telling us what are the equilibrium partial pressures of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide at the same temperature. If the initial partial pressures are given for carbon monoxide, it is 1.4 atm, and for carbon dioxide it is 0.80 atm. Okay, this is the question. Now, let us look at the solution. So, to solve this question, write down the equation. Fe2O3S plus CO gas, reversible arrow, iron plus carbon dioxide gas. Initial pressure. Solid will not have a pressure. It is negligible. It is 0. Carbon monoxide, it is given 1.4. Iron will also not have. It is 0. Carbon dioxide, it is given 0.8 atm. Okay. Now, after this step, get the reaction quotient Qp. Qp is equal to partial pressure of carbon dioxide divided by partial pressure of carbon monoxide. So, just put the values from here. 0.80 divided by 1.4, we get 0.571. Now, here we are getting Qp, the value is 0.571, and in the question, the value of Kp is given as 0.265. So here we see that Qp is greater than Kp. The reaction will proceed in the reverse direction. So you can see over here, the value of Qp is greater than the value of Kp, which is given in the question. So we can say the reaction will proceed in the reverse backward direction. Therefore, we can say that the pressure of carbon monoxide will increase, definitely, while that of carbon dioxide will decrease to attain an equilibrium position. Okay. Now, so here the first part of the answer is done, more or less. We calculated the reaction quotient. So reaction quotient is greater than the equilibrium constant at partial pressure. Okay. So here the reaction will proceed in the reverse direction. Let us go to the next slide. Now, let the pressure increase in pressure of carbon monoxide, decrease in pressure of carbon dioxide be small p. So, at equilibrium, the pressure of carbon dioxide will be 0.80 minus p, and the pressure of carbon monoxide will be 1.41 plus p, because the pressure of carbon monoxide is increasing. Thus, we can write Kp as partial pressure of carbon dioxide divided by partial pressure of carbon monoxide. It is coming to 0.265. So, this 0.265, which is already given in the question, is equal to 0.80 minus p divided by 1.4 plus p. Upon simplification, the value of p, the increase in pressure, is coming to be 0.339 atmosphere. Therefore, at equilibrium, pressure of carbon dioxide is 0.80 minus 0.339, that is coming to 0.46 atmosphere. Whereas the pressure of carbon monoxide, it is coming 1.41 plus 0.339, that is 1.739 atmosphere. Okay. So this is the solution for question number 17. Okay. Now My dear students, look at question number 18. Question number 17 is over. Look at question number 18. 1 mole of nitrogen gas and 3 moles of phosphorus chloride are placed in a 100 liter vessel heated at 227 degrees Celsius. Temperature is 227 degrees Celsius. The equilibrium pressure is 2.05 atmosphere. That means the pressure of the system after equilibrium has reached it is given 2.05 atmosphere. Assuming ideal behavior of the gases. Calculate the degree of dissociation alpha of phosphorus pentachloride and Kp for the reaction. So to solve this, the reaction is given over here. Solution part. Let alpha moles of PCl5 dissociate till equilibrium is attained. Okay. Let alpha. That is the degree of dissociation. So write down PCl5 gas. It is forming phosphorus trichloride and chlorine. Initial number of moles, it is given 3 moles, no? So phosphorus pentachloride 3 moles initially. Initially PCl3 0 moles. Chlorine is 0 moles. Moles at equilibrium now. Phosphorus pentachloride will be, since alpha is the number of moles of PCl5 dissociated till equilibrium. So here the moles at equilibrium for phosphorus pentachloride will be 3 minus alpha. Okay. After that, since 1 mole of nitrogen is taken initially, which has no role to play in this, just it is added up to the number of moles, total number of moles in the reaction. So total number of moles at equilibrium will be 3 minus alpha. You can have a look over there. It will be 3 minus alpha plus alpha plus alpha plus 1. Okay, so 3 minus alpha plus alpha plus alpha plus 1, that is coming to 4 plus alpha. Okay, again what is given? P value is given. The pressure at equilibrium, when equilibrium is attained, is 2.05. The volume of the container is 100 liter and the temperature is 227. At 273 it becomes 500 Kelvin. Okay. Now assuming ideal gas behavior, assuming what? Ideal gas behavior, PV is equal to nRT you have to apply. So put the values over here. P is 2.05, V is 100 liter vessel, N is number of moles, total number of moles is 4 plus alpha, gas constant is 0.0821 and temperature is 500 Kelvin. So upon simplification we get the value of alpha as 0.9939. So hence degree of dissociation of phosphorus pentachloride will come to 0.9939 divided by 3. It is coming to 0.3313 or 33.13%. Okay, so that is the degree of dissociation of phosphorus pentachloride, first part of the answer. Now to get the other part of the answer, to get the values of Kp, let us find the partial pressure of phosphorus pentachloride, phosphorus trichloride and chlorine in terms of alpha, degree of dissociation. So we know at equilibrium 3 minus alpha, it is the number of moles of PCl5. So 3 minus alpha divided by total number of moles into the total pressure at equilibrium 2.0, it is coming to 0.826 atmosphere. And for phosphorus trichloride, it is alpha divided by 4 plus alpha into 2.05, that is coming to 0.407 atmosphere. Okay, so keep this in mind, After that, on the next slide, the partial pressure of chlorine is again alpha divided by 4 plus alpha into 2.05, it will come to 0.407. Now finally we know, you can write the relationship for the equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure following the law of mass action. So if you look at the equation, we know the equation is PCl5. Okay, it is forming PCl3 plus Cl2, no? So looking at this equation, you can easily write this relationship over here and then put the values over here. For PCl3 it is 0.407 into 0.407 divided by 0.826. So finally the answer comes to 0.20 atmosphere. So this is the second part of the answer. Okay, please have a look at it and copy it down, the working. Okay. Now this was question number 18, I believe. Now let us go to the next question, my dear students. Question number 19, another very good question. The Kp, the equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure for the reaction N2O4G giving N2OG is 640 millimeter at 775 Kelvin. Okay. Calculate the percentage dissociation of N2O4 at equilibrium pressure of 160 millimeter. The equilibrium pressure is what? 160 millimeter. Okay. And the Kp for the reaction is 640 millimeter. Now the question is saying, at what pressure the dissociation will be 50%. So you have to get the pressure. Equilibrium pressure is 160. At 160, first calculate the pressure, whatever is the pressure. Okay, so to do this numerical, okay, write down the equation as given in the question. Get the initial number of moles. Let it be 1 mole for N2O4, because you can see there is 1 over here. Over here it is, initially it will be 0. Moles at equilibrium will be, if we take alpha to be the degree of dissociation, then this one becomes 2 alpha, this will become 1 minus alpha. 1 minus alpha. Okay, so total number of moles at equilibrium can be calculated. 1 minus alpha plus 2 alpha, that is coming to 1 plus alpha. Okay, now the partial pressure of dinitrogen tetroxide is equal to 1 minus alpha divided by total 1 plus alpha into P. The value of P is given over here, 160 millimeter. Similarly, the partial of nitrogen dioxide is this 2 alpha divided by 1 plus alpha into P. Okay, so the partial pressures of dinitrogen tetroxide and nitrogen dioxide have been worked out in terms of degree of dissociation. After that, apply the law of mass action to the equation and get Kp relationship. Kp is equal to PnO2 square divided by PN2O4. So this is already seen over there. This we write on the basis of the equation which is given in the question. Okay, applying the law of mass action. Now put the values of PnO2 square. So 2 alpha by 1 alpha into P whole square divided by 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha into P is equal to 4 alpha square upon simplification. This comes to 1 plus alpha into 1 minus alpha. This will be P square, this is P, so P will cancel, so 1 P remains in the top. Okay, now we know since Kp is given 640, so instead of this Kp we put 640 over here, and the equilibrium pressure is given 160, so put the value of 160 over here in place of this P and get the value of alpha. Alpha we have got 0.707 or 70.7%. So this is the degree of dissociation of dinitrogen tetroxide, okay, at the given temperature. Now the second part of the sum. Now the second part of the sum, they are telling us to calculate what? They are telling us to calculate the pressure for the dissociation to be 50%. Now for the dissociation to be 50%, my dear students, alpha has to be 50. Kp is already given 640. So use the equation, the same equation over here, and put the values over here. Okay. Alpha value you already know. Okay. It has to be 50, 0.5, sorry. Okay. And get the value of P. So upon simplification, after putting the values of alpha is 0.5, 1 minus 0.5 square. Okay. So here we will get, my dear students, 480 millimeter. So the pressure for the dissociation to be 50% is 480 millimeter of mercury. Okay. So that was the sum. Okay. Please note it down. Okay. Unless and until you write the question and write down the working as I am explaining it, you will never benefit. You have to write down the question. Okay. Now, moving to the next question, question number 20, my dear students. 2 moles of phosphorus pentachloride, 2 moles, remember 2 moles, were heated to 327 degrees Celsius. The temperature is given in degrees Celsius. It has to be converted into Kelvin. So you have to add 273. Now, again, 2 moles of phosphorus pentachloride were heated to 327 degrees Celsius in a closed 2-liter vessel. 2-liter vessel. And when equilibrium was achieved, phosphorus pentachloride was found to be 40% dissociated into PCl3 and chlorine. Now they are saying us calculate the Kp and Kc for the reaction. Kp also, Kc also. See, what a wonderful question. What is given? The number of moles of PCl5 is given. The vessel volume is given, closed vessel, it is 2 liter. Okay. And when the equilibrium has achieved, PCl5, it was found to be 40% dissociated, means 60% is undissociated. Okay. And we have to calculate the values of Kp and Kc for this. So to solve this, Again, write down the equation. Okay, balanced one. Initial moles of PCl5 is 2 moles. This one initially is 2 moles. But PCl5 dissociated at equilibrium is only 40%. So 40 divided by 100 into 2, it is coming to 0.8 mole. Okay. So at equilibrium, amounts of PCl5, it can be obtained by subtracting 0.8 from 2. That is the initial number of moles of the volume of the closed vessel. No? So 2 minus 0.8. So 1.2 mole of PCl5. 0.8 mole is for PCl3 because it is saying 40% dissociated into PCl3 and Cl2. So 40% is 0.8, that is PCl3 will be 0.8 and chlorine will be 0.8. I hope this much it is clear to all of you. Okay. So we have got the amounts of phosphorus pentachloride, amount of phosphorus trichloride and amount of chlorine in this reaction. Now we can easily move further and try to get the value of Kc, Kc. Now moving to the next slide over here, molar concentrations. Get the molar concentration of PCl5. We know the number of moles, so 1.2 by total number 2, 0.6. 0.8 by 2, that is coming to 0.4. Same thing here, 0.4. Now once we have known the molar concentrations of phosphorus pentachloride, phosphorus trichloride and chlorine gas, we apply the law of chemical equilibrium and put the values of these molar concentrations and get the value of Kc as 0.267 moles per liter. This Kc means equilibrium constant in terms of concentration. Okay. Now we know Kp relationship is equal to Kc RT to the power of delta N, and delta N for this reaction, the reaction PCl5, it is forming PCl3 plus Cl2, no? This is 1 plus 1, this is already 1, so this is 2, so 2 minus 1 will give 1, so number of moles delta N, it is coming 1 mole over here, 1 mole. Okay, that is 2 minus 1. Now let us put the values. Value of Kc, we put it over here and get the value of Kp. Gas constant is 0.0821. Okay, and temperature is 327 plus 27, that is coming to 600. Over here I have done the working. So the value of Kp will come to 13.15 atmosphere. This is the answer. Okay, I am waiting. You just copy this working. Okay, you can go back the video. You can just reverse the video in the backward direction. Okay, and then copy the question as well as the solution for this part. Okay, but if you don't copy the question and work out the solution, write down the solution slowly, you will never benefit. That is 100% assured. Okay, now let us move to the next question over here. That is question number 21. A mixture of 1.57 mole of nitrogen, 1.92 mole of hydrogen and 8.13 mole of ammonia is introduced into a 20 liter reaction vessel at 500 Kelvin. Okay, so the moles of nitrogen is given 1.57, hydrogen is given 1.92 and ammonia is 8.13. They are put into a 20 liter vessel. Temperature is this much. At this temperature, the equilibrium constant Kc for the reaction is given 1.7 10 power of 2. Okay, so this is the equation given in the over here. Now, is the reaction mixture at equilibrium? That is the first part of the question. If it is not, what is the direction of the net reaction? So to solve this question, what you have to do is write the equation and get the reaction quotient. Reaction quotient Qc in terms of concentration. Concentration of ammonia raised to the power of 2 because stoichiometric coefficient is 2 divided by N2, concentration of nitrogen, into concentration of hydrogen to the power of 3. So first get this. Now the number of moles of ammonia, nitrogen, hydrogen is given in the question already. So just put the values over there. Okay. So here we have Qc is 8.13 by 20. Total volume is 20. So get it. So we get the value of Kc as Qc as 2.38 into 10 power of 3. Now compare this Qc with the value of Kc. Kc is 1.7 10 power of 2. Now you can see Qc is greater than Kc. Hence the reaction is not in equilibrium. For the reaction to be in equilibrium, Qc must be equal to Kc. That is important thing. But here Qc is greater than Kc. The reaction will not be in equilibrium. But Remember the net reaction, since QC is greater than KC, therefore the net reaction will be in the backward direction. So this is solved. Okay, I hope that is very clear to all of you. So I'm waiting. You just copy the solution. Okay, line by line, step by step, and then practice it properly. Okay. Now moving to another slide over here. Now this salt hydrolysis I have already done little bit about salt hydrolysis in my previous video, but this chart I am giving you beforehand because it is a very important chart. Okay, it is the summary of the formula of salt hydrolysis. Remember. Now here, if you look at the first column, strong acid and strong base. Example is potassium sulfate, sodium chloride, sodium nitrate. These are salts of strong acid and strong base. Now this will not undergo hydrolysis. If you put them in water, they will not undergo hydrolysis. So the pH of the resultant solution is neutral. So no question about pH in this case is strong acid and strong base. But if you come to this one, weak acid and strong base. Salt of a weak acid, strong base. Okay, weak acid, strong base. That time the hydrolysis constant KH will be equal to Kw by Ka. Kw is ionic product, K is dissolution constant of the acid. Okay, and the degree of hydrolysis H will be equal to root under Kw Ka dot C. C is the concentration. So the pH of such solutions can be obtained by applying this formula: half pKw plus pKa plus log to the base 10 C. So try to remember this formula, first one. Okay, then I will advise you to copy this chart summary and practice it. Next one is strong acid and weak base. For strong acid and weak base, salts of strong acid and weak base. Strong acid, weak base, strong acid, weak base, strong acid, weak base, strong acid, weak base, etc. Okay, the hydrolysis constant, that is KH, Kw by Kb, because acid is strong, no, so Kw by Kb, and the degree of hydrolysis H is root under Kw by Kb Kc, Kb dot C. Now how to remember this formula? Whenever the acid is weak, then we write K. Whenever the base is weak, we write Kb. Okay. Similarly, here also same thing happens. So the pH for such solution will be, here it was plus, here it will be minus. Half pKw minus pKb minus log C to the base 10. Okay. Now we have got another important thing over here, third one. Salts of weak acid and weak bases. Both weak. So the time the hydrolysis constant will become Kw by Kb, and the degree of hydrolysis becomes Kw by Ka into Kb. The concentration C goes away. For such solution, the pH, the formula calculation, half pH is equal to half into pKw plus pKa minus pKb. Okay. Now when pKa is equal to pKb, it is a neutral solution. If pKa is greater than pKb, then the solution is alkaline. Salt solution is alkaline. When pKa is less than pKb, the solution is acidic. Okay, so try to go through this chart, and try to generalize yourself or according to your requirements, and to remember this chart. Okay. Now there is one more important thing I want to just note it down for you all. There are 3 points over here. If QC, reaction quotient, is greater than equilibrium constant in terms of concentration, or QP is greater than Kp, then the net reaction is in the backward direction. At equilibrium, QC is equal to Kc or Qp is equal to Kp. If QC is less than Kc or Qp is less than Kp, then the net reaction is in the forward direction. So these 3 points, please remember from this chapter. Okay. Now I would like to end my short class over here only, my dear students. In my next video, in my next video class, I'll be discussing some basic concepts, the second part of the chapter, that is ionic equilibrium. And in that ionic equilibrium, I'll be discussing with you all, the concepts like salt hydrolysis. There are salt hydrolysis over there. Discussing with you all the concepts of salt hydrolysis. Oswald dilution law briefly, concept of acid and bases, Arrhenius concept. Bronsted-Lowry concept, Protonic concept. Okay, concept about conjugate pairs of acid and conjugate bases. Okay. Limitations of all these Lewis concept or the electronic concept. Discuss a little bit about ionic product of water. Okay. Then pH indicators. Then a little bit of about acid base titration. Okay. Then most importantly over here, salt hydrolysis I'll be discussing in my next video. Okay, video lesson. The formula which I have already seen over here in the previous slide, salt hydrolysis. Then, more importantly, you must have a very good idea about common ion effect. I will explain you common ion effect in my next video. Okay, and then go over to buffer solutions, and under buffer solutions, you'll be learning about acid buffer, basic buffer, and pH of buffer solutions. Then a concept for solubility product, okay, ionic product, difference between soluble product and ionic product, and the criteria for precipitation of electrolytes, okay, and a very general relationship between solubility and soluble product. Okay, so with that, I would like to end my video here only, my dear students. So first go through this video, and then in my next class I'll come with 11 Science Chemistry Equilibrium chapter, what you call video lesson 5. Okay, thank you, have a good day.